In today's video, I am going to be explaining to you why being a point guard is the hardest position on the court, but also some of tips that you can use so that you can become a better point guard yourself. Let's get down, let's check this out. Okay, so most people when they're dribbling up and they're being a point guard, they think that it's all it is just, hey, call horns, pass the ball, set a screen for somebody, and that's all I need to do. But there's a lot more to that position than what meets the eye. So first off, yes, you'll be calling a play. Let's call it horns one. And you're going to be calling horns one. They're going to be setting that up. You'll probably do some kind of a pass into the high post. You'll probably set a screen. But what happens if, let's say, the defense switches? Let's say they were running a 2-3 zone, and as soon as you called the play, they switched to a man. That's a strategy that a lot of high-end or higher level teams and higher level defenses will actually do to you. You'll call a zone play. Let's say you'll call triangle as an example. And then as soon as they switch into a man-to-man, you're like, oh no, you now need to pull that ball back and call up another play. Maybe set a screen and roll. And you need to be vocal with your team, and your team has to be able to respect and listen to you at the same exact time. I've seen it as a coach where a player or a point guard will actually dribble the ball up the court. They'll call a play or they'll tell a teammate to do something, and they actually just don't listen to them because they don't respect them. And there could be a lot of different reasons for that. Maybe that player who doesn't respect the point guard may just not have respect at all for the guy. Maybe he thinks that he's better than him or whatever it may be. Or you as a point guard may 4, 5, 6 times in a row pull up and go for a 3-point shot. Miss or make, it doesn't necessarily matter, but what will happen is you'll actually lose your teammates' respect if you are a ball hog or if you tend to go for a lot of shots. So while we may be watching a lot of Steph Curry pulling up and right at the beginning of the offense, pulling up for a shot, missing, making, generally he makes like 99% of his shots, it seems like, right? He doesn't necessarily always do that. He only really does that 2 or 3 times in a game, but we as players will always see him doing that in highlights and say, wow, he'll be pulling up for these things from like logo range and not even calling a play. Well, there's a strategy towards that. I'm not going to get into that in this video, but if you do that consistently over and over again, you will be losing the respect of your teammates. The next part of being a point guard is knowing the plays of your team. There's nothing worse than having a point guard on the court who doesn't know every single position. If you don't know every single position and every single play that you run, you need to start studying for your team, because there's nothing worse than a point guard saying, hey, call out horns 5. You're calling out horns 5, but this guy didn't run fast enough for one. And now that delays my pass to him because I need a fake to him to pass to him. So now I need to yell at him to get faster. Or calling out horns 5, where now we're calling out horns 5. He's expecting me to pass to him, but in reality, he needs to set a screen for the other high post for him to cut so I can send up an alley-oop. Things like that. We need to know our plays. So if we're up top and we have a player who we've set up horns and he's not moving and he's supposed to be setting a screen over here, you need to say, hey, set that screen, let's go. And then he'll finally set it, you can get that pass through and maybe an easy layup or dunk. Also being able to control a possession. And what I mean by that is if the play breaks down, a lot of the times a younger point guard or a less experienced point guard will just dribble up here trying to figure out what to do. He'll maybe start putting his back to the play because maybe the defender's starting to pressure him, whatever it may be. He may not know what to do. He may be just stuck. He might dribble over here a little bit, try to find an angle, doesn't know what to do. You can't do that. If you're a point guard, if you're calling a play, okay, you can dribble a few times, horns 1. You can dribble a few times, then you need to get into your play. But if you're dribbling up top, trying to figure out an angle, on your defender so that you can drive on him, you're not a point guard now. You're now a small forward who's taking way too many dribbles. So if you're up top and you're a point guard, you either pass, shoot, or drive. And you need to make those decisions fast. You can't just be sitting up here dribbling 5 or 6 times trying to figure out what to do. If you're up top and you're stuck, screen, screen. If you call for a screen, this is a universal symbol. It doesn't matter what language you're speaking. This is a screen call. If nobody's setting you a screen, hey, Billy, set that screen. You call them by name. They go, they set that screen. That is what a leader is. Because then it's not always the coach on the sideline saying, yo, 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 set a screen for Bobby. Set a screen for Bobby. That doesn't work. Because when can you actually hear your coach on the floor? It's very rare if you've got at least 100 or more people in the stands. So you need to be your coach on the floor. And the perfect point guard, in my opinion, the point guard that I run with my AAU team, is literally the same mindset as me. Pass first, shoot second. Actually, I should really say pass first, drive second, and then shoot third. Because that's what you need on the floor. If you're a coach and you're trying to run an offense a certain way, you need a point guard who is willing to run it the way you want to run it. And if you can have a point guard who has the same mindset and the same thought process as yourself, it makes life a lot easier. He knows what he's doing on the court, and that's what I really like about my starting point guards for my AAU team. So being unselfish at the point is extremely beneficial. You also don't want to be running the point right literally at the point, because guess what? This is too close to the defense. If you are running against a 2-3 zone, that's not a lot of distance for them to cover. You want to back your butt up. If you find that you're being pressured too much, you're probably dribbling way up here. If you want to be pressured less in your offense so that you can actually run a play, guess what? Being at the logo will actually help you be able to run your team. And if you're running a horns offense like my team does, we run 5-out horns and triangle. Basically, what we're looking to do is get that pass into the high post. If we can pull out those defenders in a zone, then we can make those passes much easier. Also, the wing players, the guys who are shooting guards, small forwards, if you're on the wing, you need to get out higher so I can make that pass as a point guard. You can do quick small V cuts to get open. You can set those pin down screens for the corners so that those guys can come up. And then that way, me as a point guard, I would be able to get those passes through. Anyways, these tips will help you become a better point guard. If they do, hit that like button, subscribe. Make sure to go check out my hardest shooting basketball workout in the world. That's down in the description below. I'll see you guys again next time.